Welcome to this Imetrum video gauge demonstration. Today we're going to be looking at a calibration run that one of our technical partners here in the UK did for us prior to shipping out a system for some pile testing. So here's a picture of their laboratory, approximately a 1 meter field of view that they're looking at, and in the middle there is a digital displacement gauge which they're going to use to show how easy it is to take measurements using the video gauge system. So they've got that gauge in the middle of the screen there. It's a 1 megapixel camera we're using here, and this is a recorded video that they are analyzing afterwards to take some measurements. So to start off with, we're going to calibrate that. Because we're square onto what we're looking at, we're just going to use 2 points in the image that you can see on the top left of the screen there, and those are going to be dragged to an area which is a known size. So we know that that ruler, which has a piece of black tape on it, is 100 millimeters long. Now that's zooming in to put a point at the bottom of the ruler and a point at the 100 millimeter point on the ruler, so that we can say yes, that's 100 millimeters in the image, and that equals a certain number of pixels. In this case it's 117 pixels. If you look at the readout on the top of the screen, it will tell you exactly the pixel position of each of those points. So video gauge software works by tracking from frame to frame patterns in an image, and in this case there's a few buttons on the front of this digital displacement gauge which we're going to use. So here they are on the right, setting up the plane that we're going to be measuring in, plane 1, which we've just calibrated. And then they're going to show you what measurements we can do. So we can do strain in a number of different ways, extension, strain map, or we can use displacement, distance, rotation. And you can add as many of those points as you want to the image just by point and click. In this case actually you only need 1, so we'll just delete those. And they'll put a displacement gauge over the front of that digital displacement gauge and line it up so that they're tracking something which is a sensible pattern in the image. Next up, just to show you on the screen, they're going to set up a graph of time versus displacement in the Y direction vertically, and then they're going to press post-process go. That'll happen quickly, so we'll record afterwards to see what's going on. So here we are, press post-process, and in about a second we've analysed 30 seconds of video to get some displacement. So here you see the technician walking up to the gauge and turning the dial on the back to adjust it, and you'll see displacement 1 Y is lining up with the readout on the gauge in millimeters, so 2.34 at that starting point there. It's going to shift it up a little bit higher, getting up closer to the maximum of around about 10 millimeters, 10.04 on both displacement 1 Y as calculated by the software and also on the digital readout. That's it. That's how simple it is to use video gauge, and you'll see there from a 1 megapixel camera, 117 pixels, we were able to get a resolution down to hundredths of a millimeter.